What's up, guys? I'm going to be showing you how to make rave trance like Swim. You guys have requested this one and it's here. You can grab this full template. Everything you just heard in the intro and everything that I'm going to show you is available at the top of the description on my website. So definitely go grab that while it's available. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's get going. We're at 140 BPM. First thing I have here is this little choir. Now, the way that I made this is I actually used this thing called Holly Plus. Holly Herndon made it. If you've heard of her, she's like a really cool singer that also blends a lot of elements of like IDM. Really plays with her voice, right? So what it is it's an AI that basically you can put anything in and it'll like transfer it into her voice. So I had this. Right, I just took this ARP that I made and put it in there, and then I chopped that up and I pitched it. And then there's a few more things. So then I did this, I sidechained this to this gate. So there's this white noise here doing a pattern, and then you sidechain it to that on the gate. You can hear it just works together with the rhythm. Like I have a rhythm being played here that fits what's going on in the ARP. Then we got some delay. Just giving it a bit of stereo width as well. High pass, and then just a sidechain. Then we've got our ARP. So what's happening is there's kind of like two melodies going on here. There's this one, right? And then there's, and they're kind of like jumping between each other with that. So we're in the key of E minor here. You know, these are honestly pretty simple notes inside of the scale, right? Like we got our root, our third. There's a ninth, another third, a fourth, a fifth. Like we're just using really basic notes. Down here is a fifth, or it's a sixth, seventh, root, third. Like it's actually very basic. It just sounds complex because it's jumping around so much. For the sound on this one, we got analog. It's just one oscillator because I wanted it to really feel like that. You know, you're not hearing the phase of two different oscillators. It's just one clean, powerful thing. We got a low pass filter then with a little bit of key tracking and an envelope. Key tracking is cool when you have something like this that jumps between octaves. See, if I turn it off, it's not quite as dynamic. Then we got a bit of vibrato, a bit of unison, some eighth note delay, a little reverb, a bit of drum bus too. Here's that. So yeah, I wouldn't always recommend to do this like in every kind of track, but in this kind of a track, you can play around with oversaturating your stuff a little bit. I noticed in a lot of the Swim tracks, that's a lot of cool stuff that he's getting is really just from like saturating reverb and delay on a synth. This one is on the medium setting, but I've only got the dry wet at 35%, so you're not actually getting that much drum bus. Then we got a high pass, and then I'm just side chaining it. Then we have this little stab. So this is just playing our fifth. Again, I told you we're in E minor, so it's just playing that B there. And you can hear how this is, you know, working together with the other stuff to create a lot of motion in here. Like if you play it with the kick. Between all of these elements, and then you add the bass line. There's a lot of groove happening just in the synths, and I think that's a very important part of this sound. So for the sound, this is just a square wave with a nice punchy low pass filter with an envelope on it. They're just really short and tight, so it'll just be the perfect little stab. I've got just a little bit of dotted eighth note delay, that's what the 3 is. A high pass filter, and then we're side chaining it. And then we've got our bass. So it's actually a simple progression. If I put this up, you can see it's like, but we're in this E minor and we're starting on this sixth, which is a major chord here. And then we go down to the root actually. So it kind of like, you see how it's kind of like tricking your brain musically? Because everything else is clearly E minor that you hear. And then this is starting on that major chord. So it adds a lot of context. And then the other thing is the groove. If you listen, like that has a lot of groove just on its own against the kick. For the sound on this one, the way I made it is basically by using an instrument rack, because with Wavetable you can't have like per oscillator unison. The unison is just the whole thing. So what you can do is you make your patch, right? Like what we have here is we got 2 saw waves, a low pass filter with an envelope on it, and then the unison. And you just duplicate it, and now we have the same thing, but I turn the unison off. And that's basically like our sub. And then you get the best of both, because you can get the wide unison and like the fatness, but you're not gonna have it taking away from the punch because you still have this layer. Then we just have a little bit of processing. I'm just side chaining it, and then this EQ here, which is cutting a little bit of sub, kind of cleaning it up and making headroom in the master as well. And then also cutting out a little bit of highs, because if you listen to the percussion here, there's a lot already going on. And then with these synths as well, so you see the EQ just helps it fit a lot better. When I turn it off, it's kind of clashing. You know, that's all you really need is just like this range. So then we move up to the kick. Just a nice fat techno kick I made a while ago, and I'm cutting a bit of sub out of this and then converting it to mono. We have our main hi-hat, which is 2 layers, so I got this guy. And then this one, which you can see I worked with a bit, I made it a bit shorter. And this one I pitched down a little, so it kind of, you can see they kind of make up for each other's blind spots. Then we got this little hi-hat, which is just playing like this pattern with some velocities. And then you can see I shaped it a little bit. I made it really short, and then I added a little bit of attack as well, which is a cool way to kind of like build your own shaker, you know, and it makes it a bit warmer. And also it's not going to get in the way of this, because there's like that attack kind of getting it out of the way. And then another trick on here that I heard in the swim tracks is I have a really short reverb on just this hi-hat. Like the size and decay are down, you're barely hearing it, but it's just giving it a little bit of room. And it makes it feel a bit sort of more live. Then we have this clap. Just a little short clap. I pitched it down -1, not a big, huge, just like really short. It grooves really well, and it sits well with the kick and the bass. Then we have some loops. I've got this guy. So like some live percussion, and then I've got this live percussion as well. And then we're just auto panning it to give it kind of like the sidechain effect, and then we're high passing it. And you can hear those two just fit right up there in the mids and highs. They add a lot of energy to the track. If I take them out, not quite the same, right? So they're very important, but they're not going to do everything for you. You still have to have a solid foundation, and then they'll work. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this project file as well as all my project files at the top of the description on my website. It really helps support me if you guys enjoyed these videos. So thank you very much for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.